All right, our coverage of these storms continues right now with Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel. And Jesse, a lot of watches and warnings out there.
Yeah, Dion, this is actually what I want to point out is the fact that there isn't anything out there anymore. We had a lot of warnings early on throughout the day, a bunch of tornado warnings, a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings, even some flash flood warnings. A lot of that has expired across the area, so conditions are starting to improve. Our original concern was severe threats. We're talking tornadoes, large ones, very strong winds. Yes, we are starting to see some trees down, getting lots of reports from fire departments and local emergency managers about that. But once that kind of all passed through, we are now focusing on flooding. And that is going to be the issue for at least the next couple hours, because we've got to start worrying about runoff. Where's all this water on our roadways going to start to go? Luckily, I was kind of looking at all the local river stages, and so far everything should be fine. The Comey, the Amey, they should all be able to handle the amount of water that we're going to see with this system, because this one is nothing like 2016. This system. 2016, that system sat directly on top of us and didn't move for a day and a half to 2 days. This is moving along and quickly racing through here. The water levels are going to get very high, looking possibly scary at some point this evening going into tomorrow, but the water level should quickly recede as soon as we make our way into the morning hours of tomorrow. But again, you see here we've got multiple reports of trees down and roadways down, multiple power outages. Obviously, reports are quickly popping up towards the northeast. But the backside of this system, it's all about the flooding. And as you see here, we've got one still heavy rain band on top of us that extends from the basin all the way through East Baton Rouge into areas of southern Mississippi. Still quite a few lightning strikes out there, a little bit towards the back end of the scale. Again, we're only calling for a few isolated storms out there, but it is starting to wind down. We're kind of getting through that last wave through the downtown area, still making its way through Kentwood. A lot of areas a little bit further east. Ascension, you guys are going to expect some of that rainfall probably within the next half hour. Same thing down towards Pierre Part, and then eventually even further southeast. New Orleans, you guys are going to start to get some of that heavy rainfall as we make our way into early evening. So sometime probably around 5:36. Flood advisory in place until 5:30. We've just got a lot of water over our roadways. Please do not drive through that high water. Also, if you have some reports or if you got some flooding down at the end of the road, please send it in to us. BRProud.com. We'll make sure everybody knows what's going on across the area. Ascension, East Baton Rouge, Livingston, and West Baton Rouge underneath, again, that aerial flood advisory. We're also looking at rainfall rates over the last 3 hours and still sitting somewhere in that 1 to 3 inch category for most areas, but there are a couple pockets seeing a little bit more than that. Flash flood watch still in place until 10 o'clock. They may allow that to expire a little bit earlier. I do want to point out we're still underneath a tornado watch. They're going to keep it in place probably until 7. After that, it should expire, but I'm not concerned too much about tornadoes anymore. It's all about the rain at this point. And as you see here, the SPC is even starting to drop us from that enhanced risk at this point and kind of putting us a little bit lower on the scale. So 63 out there is your current temperature. Feel like temperature sits at 63. Notice visibility off in the distance pretty poor at this point because of those heavy rains, and now winds sit out of the northeast at 9 miles per hour. Here is that 7-day forecast, and once we get past this last band of heavy rainfall, overall conditions will start to improve. We still got to worry, Dion, about a little bit of runoff out there. And that, again, means the concern for a lot of areas. You know, again, we know where those spots are. Those areas just down Bluebond, under Acadian, all those areas that are typically prone to flooding are going to continue to see flood concerns this evening. So key here is enjoy the dry weather inside your house, yes. The comfortable weather. Don't be on the roadways until this all settles down. Otherwise, tomorrow, gorgeous. We get back to a nice dry pattern over the next couple days. Temperatures much cooler on Friday. We're talking 66 out there down to 45. A little bit cool overnight, even winter-like, but we quickly rebound by Easter Sunday with a high of 80.
So basically tomorrow is really going to be a good Friday when it comes to weather.
Indeed. I mean, we've been kind of monitoring these storms for a while. Yeah, we may not have got those long track tornadoes, but we've still got other threats out there. Flooding is obviously always one of the things that are on the back of everybody's mind. Obviously, people get nightmares because of what happened in 2016. Right. So we just focus again on the rain. This is going to be starting to move through and out of here within the next hour. and things will start to settle down.
Yeah, and you speaking about the flooding and we have a couple of roads that are closed because of the rain. Scenic Highway to 71st Street, that's closed. Also Burbank at Highway 30. So if you are traveling or you know anyone who's going to be traveling in those areas, make sure that they stay away from that. And if there are any barricades up, don't go around them, because you don't know how deep that water is. It could be a dangerous situation for anyone. We are going to continue our team coverage and monitoring things that are happening around the area. We want to go to Courtney Williams, who's live in Denham Springs out there. And Courtney, tell us what you're seeing there.
Hey, Dion, right now the rain has been pretty much nonstop since around 3 o'clock right now. I'm on Henry O'Neill Road. As you can see behind me, the road is pretty flooded. Now, I talked to a business right next door called Paradise Pools, and they said the street typically has water but has never been this flooded before. Now, there has been a few vehicles that have tried to come down this road, but they quickly turn around, which we've been advising everyone to do. Now, there hasn't been much damage reported here in the Denham Springs area. There was a tree down earlier on Kane Market near Friendship Road, but that was quickly cleared. But again, we just advise everyone to stay safe out on the roads, and if there is flooded areas, to turn around and do not drive through that water. And again, we will keep you updated as the newscasts go on and on conditions in the area. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Courtney Williams there in Denham Springs. That is Henry O'Neill Road in Denham Springs. You saw there that that road is just inundated with water. No one can pass on it. And so if you live in that area, if you know anyone who's going to be in that area, tell them to stay away from that, because that could be very dangerous. We mentioned the road closures that we have. We want to mention them one more time. Scenic Highway to 71st Street and Burbank at Highway 30. These are both in East Baton Rouge Parish. Of course, we're going to continue to monitor this situation and bring you all the updates that we are following. And we have our crews throughout the area looking to see where the damage is, where the